Yeah, this morning we're going to teach you how to remove parasites from the body, alright? Especially from the intestines. And you know they have pinworm, roundworm, threadworms, and tapeworms, and they seem to affect us in a negative way. Now, there are a few herbs we use to get rid of parasites, but herbs fall in three different categories. You have the food herbs, like your garlic, and your onions, and your cloves. And you have herbs that we use for medicinal purposes, meaning that you have a problem, the herbs are used, the problem is repaired, and the herbs are stopped. Then you have the poisons, like foxglove, bitterberg. Stay away from those. But today we're going to talk about the herbs that we use to get rid of worms in the body. And when you are doing a parasitic cleanse, it is always important to do the parasitic cleanse 3 days before the full moon and 4 days after the full moon, right? We're going to talk about the herbs we use for that. Herbs fall under bitter principles, and they fall under astringents, demulcents, and pectoral plants. But we're going to use the bitter principle plants and the antifungal plants to get rid of herbs. And the first we're going to talk about today is cloves. That's what we use to get rid of parasites. That's why we put it in the food, because it helps to kill parasites in the intestines, right? Because it's a food herb. And that's why when you're having your pork, your ham, you put a little bit of cloves in the ham to make sure that the ham get pork, right? Wonderful. Then we have another herb in Grenada called zebrapick. Very bitter herb, have a lot of bitter principles. But it's very important not only for the for parasites, but it's also important for your pancreas. It helps to drop your sugar levels very low too. Then we have another herb called coraili or colipapaw or cerasee, they call it in North America. And this herb is also good for the skin if you have eczema, psoriasis. But it's also good for high blood pressure and also for parasitic infection. And then the last one we're going to talk about that we have in Grenada is mobi. And mobi is a very bitter herb, but it also helps to keep the digestive system well and keep the sugar levels normal. Because bitters works on increasing your digestive juices, and the sour herbs help with the liver function or congestive, if you have a congestive liver. And then we have tamarind in here. We have it in Grenada. See tamarind right here? See tamarind? Tamarind is a very important herb for your liver. If you have jaundice or gallbladder and liver congestion, tamarind, in like make it in a tincture, you take a tequila glass every morning, and it keeps your liver well because it is a very sour herb. And then we have what we call orange peel, which is a cooling bitter. And cooling bitter does what? Drop acid from the stomach walls, just like Dica does. And so we're going to use these herbs 3 days before the full moon. We're going to mix them all together. 3 days before the full moon, and then 4 days after the full moon. And on the 8th day, a cup or a glass of senna pods should be used to flush the parasites out, because although these herbs kill parasites, they don't remove them from the bowels. So you have to use senna pods. Also, we notice that a lot of children seem to be infested with parasites. Children might not use the herb because they're very bitter. So we advise the parents to use a herb called licorice or stevia in the mix to help the children to take the herbs. And when you're doing a parasitic cleanse, all family members should be included in the parasitic cleanse. Don't forget that all your family members should be included in the parasitic cleanse. All right? And it takes 8 days to get rid of parasites. And don't forget that all the herbs here are bitter herbs, or we have bitter principles. Some have eugenol, and they're also important in keeping your digestive system healthy, dropping your sugar levels if you have diabetes, and also helping what we call liver congestion and gallbladder congestion. All right? Peace.